right on time. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the main business. We have a motion on the books to change the bi-monthly meetings to quarterly. The reason being that we're not getting enough people bi-monthly. So I would like to propose that somebody move that that motion be accepted. Somebody who is a financial member, Mark Cooper, and seconded by Bob Sponda. Anybody like to speak for or against the motion? Yes, Mark?
I'll speak for the motion. I'll speak for the motion. We found in the last year or so that we haven't had a quorum when we've needed to pass business at our general meeting. So we thought if we went to the quarterly meeting for a year, one of which of course is our AGM, that makes 4 a year, it might entice more people to come. So we've had some business on the books since our general meeting last November that we still haven't been able to ratify for lack of a quorum at the general meeting. Having said that, while people come and go, and it's we're sort of in that age group, at the end of the day, people are reminded that any management meeting, anyone with any issue, is most welcome to attend at any time to discuss any matter that they wish to raise. And further to that, it's always possible to call a special general meeting if there's some kind of issue of any urgency. And it's only a matter of contacting the President by email or by phone, and she'll put that to the executive, and that will happen. So, having said that, I'm speaking in favour of the fact that we have 4 general meetings per year, one of which is our AGM.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else for or against the motion? In that case, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Anybody against? Motion is carried. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we'll move on now to the main business of the evening. What I'm going to do shortly is introduce you to the gentleman who is the developer of this project, and he will give you a rundown on what he is proposing, and he will then be happy to field some questions. So if you do have a question, just put your hand up, please don't shout out. We'll hand you the microphone, and that way everybody will hear what your question is, and the meeting will be run in an orderly manner. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Brian Clark, who is the developer of this proposal.
Thank you very much, Kelly. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming along. It's a good show of hands, actually. It's very good. To start with, what I have here is the full planning and development certificate for the area that I like to call the golf course. This was for tourist purposes. Now, it's an approval that's been in place since 1989. It's an approval without time limitation. It was entered into between the then state government, the then local government, the council, and also a person who owned the land and was selling it on to somebody else, and their continuing assigns, meaning that it was a development that was approved in various stages, 11 stages to be in fact, correct? Now, this is the last stage of that development. That's why it has no time limitation. Now, I've had a few people approach me to want to develop it. I've had into a tourist resort. I've had a few people that have looked at trying to make it work, and it hadn't been feasible. So the only way to make it work would have been to extend it or get rid of the golf course entirely. Now, I know that a lot of people bought in this area with a view of having a golf course or expecting a golf course to be built, and that should have been an imposition put on the previous 10 stages of the development, so that at least the cost of it was shared. So ensure that there is a golf course there and there are facilities there, I came up with the idea of establishing a lifestyle retirement village that's a little bit different than anything else that you've seen before. This will encompass everything. It'll mean that you can buy a house in here, in the resort. You'll have a golf course, bowling greens, tennis courts, all the things that make, and a golf and a clubhouse to match that, and probably a sporting clubhouse. And that way we can afford to do the project. The other thing that we're looking at doing is making it extremely cost effective. There have been quite a few people around this area that have approached me from time to time, indicating that they would like to sell and move into a smaller housing allotment, less lawns to mow and less concerns to look after. Don't have to worry about pools and don't have to worry about those type of things because it'll be provided within the development. Now, as well, we're looking at trying to bring about cheaper housing, so you can move into a 2 or a 3 bedroom home, and we're trying to get the price around the 275, certainly below 300,000 for a new home. Now that won't, I qualify that by saying that the pricing and so forth will be determined once the feasibilities and so forth have been completed. Now, it was only yesterday that we met with the full council. We have had a DART meeting, which is a development application review team, meeting prior to that with our town planners and also our architects and the council's town planners and the officers in that on behalf of the council. That was met with a great deal of approval, I should say, in preference to building another tourist resort. A lot of the people that I have spoken to with regard to a tourist resort versus a lifestyle village, a lifestyle retirement village coupled with aged care facilities as well, have indicated that they much prefer to see that type of thing rather than another tourist resort, and also a preference for single-storey housing rather than two-storey. So that's what we've done. I brought this along just to give you a bit of an idea what a full planning and development certificate looks like and the amount of work that goes into it, the documentation and so forth. That remains, but what we are now going for is what we call an MCU, which is a material change of use, to take it from a tourist resort to a retirement lifestyle village. Now, I think what I'd like to do is show you through the plans that we have so that you can read it, or if you like, I might even jump through, I'll read it out to them, to those that might have difficulty seeing the board. That might be a bit hard for some of you to read.
We're not that old. You want those lights off in the building?
As you can see, this was the first cover, the front cover. You've moved from there to the second, I think, haven't you, Billy? That's a bit better. Anyway, I think it might be easier for me to read it if somebody can't quite see that. Project introduction and concept. Lifestyle village, retirement village with aged care services. The ideas for this development are based on the recent developments in the aged care industry, especially the new federal government initiatives as a starting point, although the concept will expand on these current structural changes in the sector for the provision of residential-based services. The idea is to merge the concepts of creating a lifestyle village for traditional aged care retirement living and integrated and allied aged and health services to create a one-stop shop based on the following ideas. 1. Supported living is fast becoming a very popular... Can everybody hear me, by the way? Supported living is fast becoming a very popular option for seniors who want to move to a residential precinct that offers a range of independent through to dependent and even palliative care options in a flexible structure. 2. ILUs, which is short for independent living units, are typically 80 to 120 square metres with 1, 2 or 3 bedrooms, full kitchen, laundry and large patio. 3. Residents have access to a full range of facilities including golf club, tennis club, bowls club, restaurant, bar, cafe, bistro and medical facility services on-site nursing. 4. Aged care facility services, basic and essential shops, aged care support services, on-site library, function rooms, hypotherapy pool, as well as recreational pool, extensive gardens, including produce gardens and small playground for grandkids, a gym and entertainment area. 5. The idea is to provide facilities that are more like being either at home or a resort, as well as provide all the services expected in an aged care facility. This allows people to stay within the facility even when they require assistance to live independently in their private residence, but not requiring 24-hour medical care provided by a nursing home. 6. This allows residents to maintain higher degrees of continuity without sacrificing future levels of required care. There is still room for their grandchildren to stay, and they can decorate their homes without the loss of this home feel when they require higher levels of care. Also, couples can stay together regardless of health, and I would imagine small pets would also be welcome. Residences can live self-sufficiently as much as they like, but as the demands of ageing require, they can increase the levels of their support. They can access on-site without having to relocate or sell. 7. Residents can live completely self-sufficient in their ILUs, although there are all levels of support and care as necessary. A range of health and support services can be delivered in the comfort of each resident's home, and regardless of how much their care needs. Increase, they will never have to move again. 8. Sometime residents may just need assistance with house preparation, things like house cleaning and maintenance, personnel or bed linen laundry, or ironing services, or maybe a companion to take them shopping. However, in later years they may need to access essential care programs for physiotherapy, diabetes and osteoporosis. 9. Whilst the residents may also like the freedom to cook their own meals, others may prefer to have catered meals delivered on site, or some just have to have a break from cooking based on convenience or a night off, or perhaps catering for guests, friends over for a party. 10. While each resident will have their own private apartment, they will also be living together in a relaxed neighbourhood precinct, where socialising and maintaining friendships is also a key requirement, as well as being proactively healthy and happy. This neighbourhood atmosphere is enhanced by residents pottering about in their gardens, even people who own higher units, tinkering in the men's sheds or playing bowls, croquet or tennis, etc. Pathways should be wide so that people can either walk or use their mobility scooters. 11. Basic 24-hour care could also be offered for personal, non-critical requirements. should residents need assistance with things like showering, dressing, etc. Help can also be provided with nutrition, hygiene and skin integrity management, as well as higher levels of support for continuance and mobility management and oral hygiene. 12. A registered nurse could also deliver palliative care, disability care, medication administration and basic clinical procedures. The nurse could also keep in touch with residents, GPs and hospitals to ensure consistent, effective care is delivered, somewhat like a medical concierge. Development summary. The commercial development options, the initial brief comprised the following requirements. 1. A village town square with convenient shops and medical precinct. 2. High care facility for 80 residents. 3. 450 ILUs consisting of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom options. These will be designed as relocatable homes in order to capitalise on the financial incentives for residents. 4. A 9-hole golf course and clubhouse with function rooms as well as a tennis club and bowls club with indoor pool. 5. Additional commercial space to allow for a coffee shop, florist and other associated uses. 6. Long-term storage for boats, caravans, RVs, etc. 7. A boardwalk and range of amenities spread across the site which are designed to provide convenient access and amenity and opportunity to reinforce the social village structure of the master plan. There are a number of options for consideration in the development assessment of the project, although this is the preliminary master plan outlines shows the broad vision for the site. Hence, the current master plan has been created to give an indicative idea of the potential capacity for the development of the integrated lifestyle opportunities within the health and aged care concept. The diagram to the right represents the broad concept of how these associated facilities could be combined, value add to each other. And that's that section you can see a little bit of there. It has there. Can you read that? Yeah. Read that to the right. Now, the next portion is where the land is. You're all fully aware of that. And the other one are aerial shots. Next one, please, Billy. That's it. Aerial shots showing where Turtle Cove is and showing where the development is going in. The next one is the master plan. You can see the golf courses, the top section there, and down the bottom we've got, on this plan we had tennis club there, but in talking to Billy a couple of weeks ago, she was telling me that there's an area that, there's not an area, a deficiency from the point of view of the possibility of having motel accommodation available in the Riverheads area. So we may turn that section there, as you can see on the far right hand side. Can you see that? Anyway, that's it. I thought that might. I'm sorry.
Which area?
Okay, I'll go to you, Jane. This area here. We're talking about most probably putting a single level motel in that area. This will be a road, tree-lined road, similar to what you've got in Turtle Cove now, which will be the main access road off the entrance. Then the body of the development will be all around here, with the golf course down that end, which is the lower end of the development. Most of this, because of the slope of the land, the development will be done in such a way that we try to captivate as much of the view as we can, but at a lower level, so that it doesn't affect the views of people that have got houses around this section, as best we can anyway, around this section of the golf course. So that's the master plan and how it will look, and then it goes on showing you where the golf course will be. Should be the next. See it on the left-hand side there. Then it's blown up into. That's it. Now that's a 9-hole, but with 18 tees. So that we've got a 9-hole back-to-back golf course, giving us 18 if you want to play off 18. But we think that that's most probably adequate, and that the cost of that will be borne by myself, by the developers. I am talking to a couple of other joint venture partners who will be coming into it with me. We'll be putting in, where you can see that management zone just here, just in this area here, is where our sewage plant will go, and the sewage plant will then be used. The water from it will be reticulated over the golf course to ensure that it's good for the golf course to start with. And we've got a huge amount of groundwater there. We've done sunk 3, I think, holes to check its viability, and there's thousands of gallons running out now into the sea of good fresh water. It's very, very drinkable. It's beautiful water. Well, we're putting in a dam there as well, which will help supply the water that's needed for the sewage plant. And then, of course, the golf course meanders all the way around it, so it won't be visible for anybody, and I think it's the best location for it. We also, at this portion just here, is also the beginning of the boardwalk. And the boardwalk will go right around the rest of the development. In amongst that boardwalk will be a couple of hides for people that like viewing birds. We've had a lot of inquiries in that regard. So there's an area of land. The whole of that land that I own is 286 acres. Of the 286 acres, 150 of it's been set aside as a habitat zone. Now the habitat zone is really the wetland, if you like. That's that grey, sandy, muddy area that you see that birds seem to love coming in on, and they come from all over the world, migratory birds, to land there. So I think it's just another attraction to the development that you will never see anywhere else again. Also, I might add that there isn't a retirement village that I know of that has its own golf course either. A lot of them have bowling greens, indoor bowling greens, they have tennis courts, they have swimming pools, they have all the other ancillary stuff that we will be having, but I don't know of any of them that have actually got a golf course for the residences and the community alike. We're not going to lock this off either just for residences, unless there's some sort of a security problem or something. People will need to apply. If they apply, they'll be able to get the security code to go in through the gates. Otherwise, it'll be open. We're quite sure that Riverheads is a very safe area to live in, and we don't expect to have any problems along those lines. Yeah, so the next one is where you start to get into the depth of the development, where the number of houses are, where the town centre is, the golf clubhouse. Can you see the golf? I'll start from the left-hand corner and I'll move up. The golf clubhouse is next to the dam there. Can you see that? Now that will be a clubhouse that will incorporate as well the tennis courts, the bowling greens, and the chip and putting greens. You've got to remember this is a very early stage where we needed to get A, support from the Progress Committee, B, support from the Council, and generally have something that we believe then will move to state government level and then Commonwealth government level. The Commonwealth government do have some say with what you do in areas that the Great Barrier Reef comes down to. So we've got a lot of hurdles yet to jump over. We've got a lot of obstacles to deal with, but this is the first stage of it. Then you come to, in the centre there will be the high care area, although that may need to be changed as well. We believe that a lot of people that need care suffer with dementia, and in some instances they need to be to save themselves from escaping and so forth. Yet at the same time, we don't want to do like they have been doing in a lot of these dementia wards, where they actually lock them in the wards. We'll have areas there where they can walk around, they can even go with the nurse or whoever's looking after them on the boardwalk and utilise the parks and that are in that area. But that'll be fenced off. One section of it will be fenced off, the other section will be fine. It's only fenced for the palliative care people. Then there's the commercial town square, which is right in the centre. Visitor parking in the main entrance, you can see where that is. It goes along where Trevor's house is. You'll be right on the corner of everybody driving past. What else have we got? The high care, the commercial town centre, long-term parking and visitor parking. We've got the medical centre then to the right of that, and then neighbourhood sheds and craft areas. That's another thing that most of these aged care facilities that and or lifestyle villages have are sheds with full working equipment in there for guys to potter around, fix up things, make stuff, make stools, or do whatever they like, little wood turning lathes and that type of thing. So there'll be that available, and there'll also be craft centres for the women, so that they can do things like I guess this type of thing, which incidentally is very beautiful and lovely cool. So these sort of facilities are all within the development, and we don't want to at this stage prohibit like-minded people that live in Turtle Cove and or Riverheads. I mean, we're not just locking it off only for the residences. It'll be available for whomever wants to utilise it. Then the top section is the next page. And you can see where the boardwalk's still continuing around right up to the tip, where we've got at the top there, we're going to put the tennis club. That'll now be incorporated into the golf club and bowling greens. So that's the area that we were thinking might be a good area to put a motel. There'll also be a buffer strip that'll kind of we're trying to find trees that don't grow much higher than to obliviate from the views from here, so that you're not looking at a sea of houses. You'll have some trees along here as well, but not. We're trying to get them so that they don't grow any further than about 15, 20 feet, so that it just covers the housing. Now there's a few other little things that we've run up against, both with the council and with people inquiring, and that is, in doing all of this, what can we do to make Riverheads midge-free? I thought I'd get a bit of a smile there, because we might be the only area in the whole of Harvey Bay, and in fact most probably the eastern coast of Queensland, that we might be able to get rid of the midges. There's a couple of things that we're experimenting with at the present time, which is called a, what do they call it, citronella? Geranium citronella bushes that we're experimenting with at the moment. But I think the best way to explain it to you would be that Kingfisher Resort manages the midges very well. I don't know whether any of you have been over there. You get eaten over here, you go over to Kingfisher Bay Resort, you don't get touched.
Because they use barbicide, which
They-
is not good for the fish.
What is it?
Because they use barbicide that's dropped in the area. We investigated this years ago.
Oh, did
and
you?
it's got a phosphate in it, which is not good for the ecology and the habitat for the fish.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
riverhead fishing is important.
Yeah, that is very important. Oh, well, one of the things that's going to attract over 50s to the area and to buy in here will be because of the fishing and being able to get across the Fraser Island and so forth. So, we won't be doing things that are going to be detrimental to that extent. And I think that a lot like, for instance, the Gold Coast, it was virtually midge-free for a while. And they stopped, I think they were fogging or doing something like some sort of spraying anyway, and they found the same thing. It was environmentally unfriendly for the fishing habitat. So we won't be doing that type of thing. But whilst I was at council yesterday, one of the councillors told me about a machine that comes from the States that is extremely effective. I don't know whether it works on some sort of noise or whether it gives off some kind of smell or something, I'm not sure. But we're certainly looking into using or experimenting with those machines. So that's one of the things that I think would be absolutely fantastic if we could make riverheads midge-free. It'd be wonderful. So we're working on that. And of course, when you're putting in an over 50s village, you can't have people running around saying, don't live at riverheads because you'll get eaten alive by midges. It's affected all of the values of your properties, there's no doubt in my mind. If we can do this, it's going to make a big difference. Now when you get to the stage where you want to most probably look at moving into the retirement haven, you would then find that you can sell your house, maybe get 500,000-600,000 for it, buy one of these for less than 300,000 and put the rest in the bank or live off it or spend it or do whatever you like with it. I believe we should be able to sell these for around about the 275, but I won't know that for sure until we've done it. Now, once we've done the feasibility studies and worked it out, the key to this whole thing is that when you buy a house there, you own the house and you own it under legislative arrangements that have been set up for retirement villages. And you rent the land. You don't own the land, you rent it. But the government gives you assistance. It's a rental scheme that the government assists you with. So the average is somewhere around about $150 a week, and the government, I understand, contributes about $80 a week. Now, you haven't then got rates and taxes to pay. You haven't got additional things that you now have to pay owning your own home. So it's a lot cheaper way to live, and you've got use of all the facilities you wouldn't have otherwise had. You know, swimming pools, you don't have to worry about a swimming pool or maintaining it or doing anything like that. So I think the concept is fantastic. It has developed very well over the last, I would say, 20 years, 15 to 20 years. And I do have a DVD that runs for about 7 minutes to give you a bit of an idea for those that don't know anything about these lifestyle villages or retirement villages, to have a look at what some of the opposition are doing. So I think if you just run through the rest of those photographs, Billy, slowly so people can get a bit of an idea of what we're trying to achieve here. Notice the fish, the fishing. It's an important part of what we're trying to achieve. And the boating in Fraser Island and boardwalk cafes and so on. I think we might put this other DVD on for you to have a look at, and then I'll take questions from the floor. What else can I say? I think I've just about covered most things in going through this booklet. This can be available if you wish. You can contact Billy and let her know if you want to get a copy of this booklet. But remember, it's at a very early stage at this stage. It might be better for you to wait until we get to a stage where we've virtually got it approved or ready to submit to council. Are you able to put the DVD on that?
Mine. Press the wrong button.
Oh, I see.
Have to call the expert. Next one.
These developers here have got, I think, two other developments besides. They call them all along the gems, like Living Gems, Sunstone Gardens, there's Ruby Gardens, there's Diamond Gardens, and there's Sapphire Gardens. They're very successful, and it'll give you a bit of an idea as to what they're doing for the active over 50s resort living. So I think if you play all of this. We've got sound.
Family ties. These are the values that drive Living Gems Corporation, the Queensland-based developer and operator of premium lifestyle resorts for the over 50s. The family behind Living Gems has been extensively involved in property development. Their dedication to creating a wonderful life for their resident stakeholders has been the foundation upon which their business is built. The wisdom gained from a lifetime in the building industry, the talents of marketing and project management. This is a family company where each director brings their strengths to the table. Working together, this family team not only choose the land and build the resorts, they also stay on and manage each community. Always available, always approachable. Together, they build active lifestyle resorts that make the dream possible and affordable. Each Living Gems active lifestyle resort begins with a very careful selection of land. It must be close to shopping and medical facilities, close to the infrastructure of public transport, motorways and railways, large enough to accommodate a range of community facilities, inexpensive enough to pass on savings to residents. Within each village, we create our own suburb, something better than expected, but more affordable and open to people on a lower budget. You'd be surprised by the great value our resorts offer, made possible by that original, astute purchase of land. When planning each resort, we like to preserve the natural environment, creating a clean, green space that's as self-sufficient as possible. The homes are built using environmentally sustainable construction technologies, with the majority facing north-south and outdoor living in the most desirable aspect. This, along with acoustic and thermal insulation, makes your home more livable and enjoyable, while reducing the cost of heating and cooling. A tranquil environment and peace of mind. We know this is important to you, so each Living Gems resort is a gated community fully fenced, with the entry through front gates monitored by security cameras and facilitated using the latest in pedestrian and vehicle access technology. You also have the advantage of a full-time on-site manager at each resort. Wide access roads that are well lit. And with such a close community, the value of a built-in neighbourhood watch, where strangers are easily noticed. At Living Gems, we put a high value on enjoying life to the full. So we've made sure the community facilities in each of our resorts are amongst the most outstanding you'll see. Better than many holiday resorts, yet yours to enjoy every day. With each Living Gems resort, we focus the layouts around the community facilities. When you visit Ruby or Sunstone Gardens, you'll understand why. The modern country clubs feature a coffee lounge, bar and commercial kitchen. There's a separate theaterette, a music room, arts and crafts room, meeting rooms, and importantly, a workshop for the blokes. Add to this a health club with the latest exercise equipment, a well-stocked library, dedicated games room with billiard tables, and you can see that nothing has been spared, including the quality of the facilities. Outdoors, you have the fully tiled spa and lap pool, thoughtfully designed with partial shade and heating, barbecue areas to relax and entertain, an all-weather full-size tennis court, and the championship bowling green. You'll feel like you're living at a resort with the perfect balance of privacy and company. Best of all, the resort facilities are maintained in first-class working order by resort staff. You just need to enjoy. At Living Gems, our home designs are amongst the largest in our industry, with a value per square metre second to none. You can choose from our architecturally designed 2- and 3-bedroom layouts, but we're very flexible and are happy to customise or work with your own design. To make this process easy, we have our own in-house architect, so you're welcome to sit in and look over his shoulder. All Living Gems designs have 2.6-metre ceilings, adding to the feeling of light and space, and the highest level of inclusions, with air conditioning, luxury kitchens, stone bench tops, imported floor coverings, and energy-efficient lighting, all standard, not extras. In our Living Gems resorts, you can purchase a modern, brand-new home for only a fraction of what you pay in the suburbs. We make the dream possible because we make it affordable. One of the main reasons why life in a Living Gems resort is so affordable is that we've separated the ownership of the land from the ownership of the home. Although you don't own the land, your right to live in your home is guaranteed and protected by law. Your right to stay here is protected forever. Residents at our resorts are not subjected to deferred management fees, so you'll enjoy a wonderful lifestyle while watching your capital investment grow. And because we choose our location so carefully, your investment today points towards continued capital growth well into the future. As a resident, you may also be entitled to receive ongoing rent assistance through the federal government assistance scheme, significantly reducing your cost of living. With subsidised weekly site rental payments, the potential for significant capital growth, no land tax, stamp duty, legal or body corporate fees. Living in a Living Gems 5-star resort makes good financial sense. Ruby Gardens is centrally located in Eagleby, in the middle of the burgeoning southeast Queensland growth corridor, strategically located close to major shopping, entertainment and medical precincts. Access is via the new 4-lane M1, which can whisk residents off to the sandy beaches of Surfers Paradise, or the big city lights of Brisbane in less than 30 minutes. Set on 20 landscape hectares, Ruby Gardens' tree-lined entry boulevard and landscape streets perfectly frame the 357 freestanding 2- and 3-bedroom homes that make up this unique master plan community. The resort is completely fenced, with the entry monitored by security cameras and protected by the latest access technology. Residents also enjoy the presence of experienced and hard-working on-site management, so there's always someone to keep an eye on things. Swaths of manicured green areas and wide thoroughfares are perfect for those residents who enjoy early morning walks. A 6,000 square metre lake is one of the centrepieces of the community, providing the perfect backdrop for a leisurely stroll. Adjoining Ruby Gardens is over 4 hectares of local authority forested parkland that residents can enjoy. And you're also within walking distance to the nearby Eagleby ecological wetlands, identified as being a significant habitat for wildlife, with the meandering Albert and Logan rivers just moments away. Equipped with walking tracks, picnic areas and fishing platforms, Ruby Gardens is a nature lover's delight. But our star attraction? Ruby Gardens boast arguably the finest resort facilities currently on offer in any contemporary over 50s resort. Ruby Gardens, resort lifestyle living, where every day feels like a weekend.
I don't think there's any need to keep going over and over the same thing. They're just selling their different projects. It gives you a bit of an idea of what we're all about. We've got, in this project here, we've got all of that and more because of the golf course. And to talk about the natural habitat, some of those developments have some of the things in it and others don't. But they are most probably the most successful of the over 50s lifestyle village resorts, that particular company. The price of their houses start at about $350,000. We're going to try and beat that considerably. Do you have any questions? Yes. Have you got a, Billy, you've got a microphone?
Thanks so much for your presentation. Two brief questions, please. Rather than trying to get hold of the booklet which you showed before. I think the thing that appeals to most is to look at the plans and the maps. But I wondered if, particularly I think it was on page 6, which was the master,
Yes.
overall plan map, whether that could be obtained by Billy and emailed out to us on our email lists, so that we can kind of peruse through those things in our own time and kind of work out where things are in relation to each other.
That's a good idea. In fact, I'd like to have some feedback on that. Any suggestions that you might have of improving it or whatever, that would be a good idea.
And the second question...
You've got to remember this is a very early stage.
Yes, but it does give us a feel for the scope and where it lays in the land.
Correct, yes.
The second question is, I know in speaking to a few people around the area, some have been a bit concerned about the concept of a gated community. And you did mention earlier that there would be access available to people who live in the Riverhead area to get into the area to use some of the...
That's correct. This will be an amenity for everybody in the Riverhead area. There's no doubt about that. It won't be gated unless there's a problem. Now, there might be a problem in some areas, so we might have to gate off some of them. For instance, where the high care facilities are in the dementia areas, that's going to be obviously gated off, screened off. But otherwise, it'll be totally open. We're not intending on doing it the same way as these guys did.
That sounds great. Will you envisage that use of local people in the area would be like a fee for one-off use, or would there be some concept of some annual fee that you pay for entering into the area?
Well, I'm not sure about that yet. I guess there'll be like a membership arrangement whereby you can become a member of the club and get automatic access to anywhere in the area that you want. But we haven't fine-tuned all that yet.
Okay. Thanks.
So that's why it's a good idea to have a bit of feedback from you guys. So if you can do that, Billy, I'd appreciate it. Anybody else?
Hi, thanks very much for that presentation. My name's Carol Baxter. I'm just curious as to whether the village would have a shuttle bus or regular transport arrangements into town and back again.
Yes, they
Because
will.
we are a little bit remote out here, so people think.
Yes, that will definitely be a must. They all have that, by the way, a shuttle service for shopping and also for other purposes.
Thank you very much.
There's something here I'd like to add, and that is I heard from my town planner today that there's what do they call it, an e-hospital going in. Just read the notes that I made when he was telling me about it. St. Stephen's Hospital. It's the first e-hospital in Australia. And an e-hospital is something where a doctor can operate even from overseas. For instance, if somebody has a problem, they can access it through these iPhones and through computers from the States to here. And this will be the first one. Now, he's told me that the whole thing is fully electronic. The Wesley hospitals and will be sending people to the e-hospital as well as the Sunshine Coast. So it means that Harvey Bay is going to be quite a hub with the art of technology, fully electronic and top facilities. It will be opening on, it's expected to open on the 2014. It's a sister hospital with the Sunshine Coast Hospital and the Wesley Hospital in Brisbane. The cost of it was $150 million. They have already access to 7 specialists have been secured to the hospital. That will make a huge difference to particularly the wealthy elderly, I guess, that have private hospital facilities, that are wanting access to such high standard medical facilities. I thought I'd mention that to you because that's another thing. It's only 15 minutes from us to there, so very easy access to top medical facilities in the hospital. Were there any other?
My name is Judy Smith, and I was just wondering, because it's going to be down on the water, is there any way you can include pontoon or a jetty or something? Like you mentioned, people coming here for fishing, even if they launch their boats down there, if they wanted to come in for a couple of hours and just tie up the boat, I just thought it's another potential.
Yeah, now, we would have difficulty doing that. Where the habitat zone is, that's that flat area, that salt pan between where the golf course and all the development starts and the mangrove island. That can't be touched. When I first bought this land some 10 or 12 years ago, I was going to try and turn that into a canal estate. You can imagine what the council thought of me when I said that. So it wasn't on, and this is the next best thing that I think we've got. Unfortunately, you will have to, if you've got a boat and you're living there, you'll have to take it down to the river heads and launch it and do whatever. It's not that far to go anyway. Yes, we can hear you. Just need to hold a little closer.
With the cost of the homes, I'm a bit concerned about maybe the quality, because we haven't got quality type homes on our state, and maybe it's not attracting the right type of person. So that doesn't sound very good. I know, but we sort of, I think, need to be a certain standard up as well.
You might be surprised at top quality homes, but you might be surprised how much the cost of the land is when you have a home. Like $275,000 for the home. You don't pay anything for the land.
But you were saying those other ones that we saw on the screen were around about the 300,000, 400,000 mark.
That's correct, yes.
So what is the difference between those ones and the ones that you're talking about?
Well, none really, other than the fact that it's closer to the city, I suppose, and the profitability that they're making out of them, that type of thing. Whereas we're trying to keep the cost down. I would like to see people in this area take advantage of it, more so than bringing people in from the cities. And cost these days is very significant. Keep your hand up and you'll get it next.
Malcolm Herbert, just going on from what Cove was on about, you did mention relocatable homes.
Yes.
Obviously people think of relocatable homes as things that come in on trucks and things like that, and ones that can be taken away fairly readily and so forth. Talking about the quality, is that the intention, that we're going to have homes built?
No, it's not actually. The Relocatable Home Act gives you security of tenure via the government. Now that security of tenure has to be relocatable, but it never is. Nobody's going to relocate their home or move it somewhere else or do anything like that. But what it does do is give you access to the subsidies that the government offer. So if you don't own the land, you must be able to, if you wanted to, move your house away. So what it will be is a concrete slab There will be a steel structure. The steel will have platforms on it that are bolted down onto the concrete slab. So if somebody did want to move it away, they can. But it will never happen. I could show you another one by Halcyon, and how they're making it so-called relocatable. The only reason why we need to do it that way is to ensure that we can fit within the Act and give you total security of tenure.
Hi, my name's Desiree Fairburn. My friend and I, we both live in Cove. The facilities that are available in your complex that have been, will they be for the residents only, other than the golf course?
No. Yes and no. I mean, the clubhouse, for instance, you can join the club and facilitate all of those particular things. With regard